There's a lot of games here at Sigma, but we're here not to talk about games of chance, but games of skill, play-to-earn games, and how this is really going to change the NFT and metaverse world. Why don't you all introduce yourselves quickly and your roles in the gaming world?
You bet. My name is Tyler Farnsworth. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer of a company called Built by Gamers. We're an esports and gaming lifestyle company, so we have various teams that compete, like you see the gentleman over here. We also have a number of content creators on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, and have created a really unique fan engagement platform that we'll talk a little bit more about.
Yeah, well, and we're going to take a look at a video about Built by Gamers in a second. But Phil, you're just on stage and you wear another hat. Tell us what you do in the NFT world.
You all should know me by now. I'm Phil Runyan. I'm the co-founder of NiftyCo, and we are a SaaS platform for Web3 creators, democratizing access to these really cool nascent technology that are non-fungible tokens, making it easy so grandma can use it.
Next on stage is our surfer of the day, Joe Pinto.
Joe Pinto from California. I'm one of the co-founders of Haste Arcade, which Jimmy highlighted in his presentation. Basically, we are a play-to-earn arcade with skill-based games, NFTs, and the way to think about it is if you played a traditional game like Pac-Man at an arcade, you put your quarter in, you get on a leaderboard, you get to put your initials up there. That's really the only benefit you get is maybe a little ego boost. But with us, because of the power of BSV and micropayments, now you put that quarter in, you get on the leaderboard, and these leaderboards can be hundreds of people long. You're going to earn a fraction of every subsequent gameplay from other people spending a quarter. So that's what we're using BSV for.
Hi, I'm Jack Laskey. I'm the co-founder and CEO at Jigs. Jigs is a platform to make it extremely simple and affordable to integrate NFTs into games, and we're really targeting games and applications that are mass market oriented, so not a collection of 10,000 NFTs that are maybe trading for hundreds or thousands of dollars. We're also a game publisher. We have a game called Dogs, which Jimmy mentioned. Through this game, we've minted close to 1 million NFTs, and most of those NFTs were given to our users for free. And so Dogs is a free-to-play, play and earn game, and that's made possible through our APIs and our platform, which makes it really simple to integrate these extremely affordable NFTs in a very powerful way.
Okay, I think we are missing things we need to show, so we're just going to talk. Okay, so Tyler, tell us, since your company doesn't actually operate the esports games, but you are a big believer in BSV, how are you going to be using the BSV blockchain to improve the game experience for fans as well as the players?
Yeah, so when we think about the future of competitive gaming, esports, this whole space, I like to think about like any traditional sports team you love. So think about what is the fan experience like? How do you showcase fandom? And we looked at other chains before BSV and realized that what we wanted to build could not be built in other places. The fee structures didn't work, the speed didn't work, the microtransaction structure didn't work. And so we are building a program, and we've already launched the first iteration of this, that rewards fans for interacting with our organization. So, for example, if they watch a certain amount of a Twitch streamer, they receive points that have real-world value to them.
By the way, how long do people watch these Twitch streams?
Hours. Hours and hours.
Just people playing games, right?
The new entertainment. I mean, not unlike someone watching a hockey game or a basketball game or watching golf. Yeah. And so we are creating ways that engage and reward people for their interaction with our content and our people.
Got it. And give the audience a sense of how big this industry is, in particular your organization. People may not know it, but you're a significant organization in this space.
This industry is absolutely enormous and growing like crazy. So just within the walls of our organization, we have, in totality, in the tens of millions in audience. On a monthly basis, we're generating 20 to 30 million views across all channels. It's immense, and it's growing like crazy. It's still just a fraction. But when we think about the whole world, over 3 billion people in the world are gamers. Whether it's the 70-year-old woman on my flight this morning playing Candy Crush, I love that for her, that's amazing, or the 2-year-old little boy playing on his mom's iPad. and everybody in between. Gaming is enormous, and this audience is just continuing to grow.
Got it. It's what got you out of your normal marketing world, right? With other big brands. Okay, let's go to Joe. Joe, so you've told us a little bit about Haste Arcade in terms of how it provides us micropayment capabilities so people can earn small amounts. How can game developers and companies start using Haste?
Sure. So we built a software developer kit that basically takes that leaderboard structure and makes it easy to integrate with other games. So our team in particular, we've created several games that are in the arcade. There's about 15 games in total right now. But we've had the majority submitted by third-party game developers who are much more experienced at building games. And really that's what the SDK does. It makes it really simple to actually take that leaderboard payout structure, put it into your game. And the reason I think people are interested in doing this is Tyler kind of touched on the engagement level of what you can do with blockchain technology. I look at these leaderboard payouts the same way that, when you post a photo on Instagram, you get a like. It's kind of like a dopamine hit. Well, I'll go to sleep at night, I'll wake up, and my phone will have 200 different notifications from, hey, you got a penny from this game, or you got a tenth of a penny from this one, you got 2 cents from this one. It just is a constant reminder of I'm making money for things while I'm not even actually doing them. And that's really what I think a lot of the third-party game developers are interested in using our SDK and getting their games listed in our arcade for.
And this goes back to the key point from my presentation. What was Bitcoin designed to do? To make a more efficient way to send even small, tiny payments across the internet. Without someone in the middle, you cannot do that type of business model with today's payment systems because it costs too much to send a payment through traditional payment routes. So this is one of the magics of actually scaling Bitcoin big, enabling micropayments.
And that's what, when we first created Haste, the idea was, been following Bitcoin for a long time, but still struggling to explain it to like my parents or my friends who hadn't gone down the rabbit hole. So it was like, what easy visual representation of a micropayment could we create to just say, look, instead of worrying about what mining is and going down the whole rabbit holes, just play this game. If you get on the leaderboard, you're going to earn a micropayment. No one's ever handed me a tenth of a cent before, and so that's what we ended up inventing.
All right. Jackson, okay, tell us about what you're doing in the NFT space, including with Haste and Built by Gamers.
Yeah, so I've spent a lot of time with this guy recently. Some really cool stuff happening between NiftyJigs and Haste Arcade. One of those is that they're using our API to actually power in-game collectibles that you can actually use in some of the most popular titles on Haste. So if you are like a streamer and you're showing how awesome you are at these Haste games, you're making all this money, and you don't want to be kind of like, your typical gamer who's just using the ball or the character that comes out of the box. You want to express yourself a little bit more. Now you can do that, and they have a lot of NFTs that range anywhere from like a few cents to buy all the way up to, I think that you guys just had one trade for a few $1,000s. So it's a really cool way to kind of customize your gaming experience. And we actually just, I would say, took that to an even further degree where our game Duro Dogs, where you're raising these pet dogs that are sort of uniquely your own, you're earning clothes that you can dress up your dogs with, and other game developers can actually take those NFTs and create new experiences. That's already happened, and we just had one of those games that was developed for the Duro Dogs characters now actually integrates Haste ILP. And so you can play this game, Rough Runner, where you're competing against other people using your Durodog NFT, and you can earn real money rewards in real time through the Haste ILP SDK.
Yeah. And we're trying to make NFTs actually useful, as opposed to the world of NFTs we have now where my friends say, I don't know why people are paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for a picture of an ape. Their use of NFTs, which is an asset, a pet, a dog, whatever, that grows in attributes over time, stored on a blockchain that can be accessed by different games and applications and used across many platforms. That is a powerful use of blockchain. Before we get to Phil, we're going to show a video that illustrates Built by Gamers. Can you turn on the audio, please?
Gaming is global, with over a third of the world's population playing.
Sport and bring esports to the mainstream, the next level.
People are watching 20,150. Oh shit!
Gaming is pushing culture, and it's always evolving. Blockchain technology is changing the game. You want to see a peek? Let's go. Welcome to the Haste Arcade. Looks like you just got the high score. And with our new instant leaderboard payout system, that high score you just got is making you money, while it sits atop a global leaderboard with thousands of players fighting for your spot. Here in the arcade, players enter each game with a nano payment. And every time they fail to beat your score, you earn a portion of their entrance fee. Looks like you need a wallet. With instant peer-to-peer payments, players can earn, pay, and redeem across games and platforms. But what about digital goods? Nifty Jigs allows your unique digital goods to be earned, bought, evolved, traded, and used in the ever-growing metaverse. But what's an arcade without players? With its massive worldwide audience, Built by Gamers brings an injection of new players, creators, and viewers to this new gaming ecosystem. It's time to drive excitement, awareness, and adoption as this fan base drives into the next generation of gaming.
So that's a
You just
great
saw the
description.
future of gaming, right here, right now.
Yeah, you should be in. Several companies in our space that have collaborated together to advance the whole esports gaming world with using micropayments, NFTs, and all these different data powers of BSV. So I'm excited to see where it's all going. Phil, before we get to you, we've already talked about Haste Arcade. This is just an example of one of its games, Jump. You want to tell us about Jump?
Yeah, Jump, pretty simple game. Kind of in our ethos, keeps things short, simple, demonstrate micropayments. Basically, you have a ball, and Jackson mentioned this, using Nifty Jigs, you can now, if you don't like the traditional ball, we have one that's like a plasma, we have one that's like a rainbow, all sorts of different new NFTs you can purchase within the arcade. But basically, you just bounce the ball from pillar to pillar. You get 2 taps per pillar, and if you miss one of them, that's it. The game ends. So typical gameplays are between 5 seconds, 2 minutes if you're really, really good. But yeah, short and sweet.
And how much do you pay to play this?
So there's different levels. We do have a free version of every game, but the most popular levels are the 1 cent to play and the 10 cent. Above that, we have $1, $10, and $100. But we have over 100,000 gameplays at this point, 97% are less than 10 cents. So again, demonstrating the utility of these micropayments. And again, we're taking that 10 cents and breaking it up into 100 different pieces and spitting each one out on every single gameplay transaction to those people that are on the leaderboard.
Cool. All right, and what's Lost?
Lost is a pretty classic arcade-style game. You're a spaceship, you fly around shooting different asteroids, different ships, while they're trying to destroy you as well. Same gameplay, spend levels, penny, 10 cents, dollar, etc.
Got it. And we'll skip Forest and Fire. Talk about game collectibles.
So yeah, Jackson hit on this, but these are collectibles, NFTs that you can purchase all within our site. Like you said, they range from a couple cents. A couple of the super unique ones go as high as $200. But what's cool is once you buy one of these, and we do have people who, when these go live, most of them sold out actually immediately. This just launched about a week ago. And people started reselling them already. So there was one guy who bought one of the super rare ones for $200 and resold it yesterday for $1,300. So it's creating a marketplace inside the arcade, but there's utility to these NFTs, right? It's a super unique spaceship that the guy bought, and he can now go and assign that within the game and start playing with it.
Right, because people will pay to get a advantage. And as I mentioned in my presentation, one of the reasons these companies are using BSV is the very, very low fees. They can make tons of NFTs for a tiny price compared to what it would cost on Ethereum. Jackson, you mentioned Durodogs. Here's a picture of it, of what a dog looks like and the kinds of things you can put on the dog. You want to talk about this, how this is designed for interoperability using blockchain.
Yeah, so NFTs are a component of interoperability, and I think that the market is starting to understand how NFTs and the sort of blockchain-based authentication can be used to help authenticate that this is a legitimate Durodog that I'm bringing into a new game. But I think that what is maybe underrated, but that really excites me about what we're doing with Haste and BSV in general, is that I think micropayments are a really important component of interoperability, because take a Durodog. You get your first dog for free. We sell additional dogs for $1.99. People who want to build games that utilize our dogs don't get that privilege of selling the dog for $1.99. So how are they going to make money? And I think that the lowest barrier to entry way for them, especially with our users who already have a wallet, They already have cryptocurrency. They can make these payments like they're making in Haste Arcade for a cent or 10 cents. It's just a charge directly for gameplay. A user can go to a new game. They have their money. They have their NFTs. They can make a payment with one click. They don't have to enter a credit card. It's very low barrier to entry, and I think that actually opens up the ability for these NFTs not to only be sort of technically brought into a new environment, but also to create that commercial incentive to do so in the first place. And I think in particular, this is a huge opportunity, not necessarily for massive gaming studios, which it's its own opportunity, but for the really small creator, like someone who's building a game, maybe they're based in Ukraine, they're based in Pakistan, they're working on platforms like Fiverr, they're making relatively little money for their creation. I think there's a really big opportunity monetizing games, tapping into existing audiences, leveraging micropayments for this type of creator to make a lot more money, and for that to result in games that are much more dynamic and much more broad in their scope. And that's really kind of what excites me about what we're doing with ThoroDogs and at NiftyJigs in general.
And how this all relates to Web3 and Metaverse is because with NFTs like this on a blockchain that you can use across many games, environments, on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, on metaverses, you own the NFT. It's not a system where, for example, you make an avatar on a platform that essentially controls it, right, and can deplatform you. It lives on the blockchain. Your dog gets new outfits and ears and experience over time. It all lives in one place in the blockchain. But different games, as you can see this diagram, can access that asset that you have, and you can use your dog on many, many different platforms that would integrate with this system. And that's the future of how blockchain can power a Web3 world where your data and assets are more in your control, and a metaverse world of multiple metaverses where your assets can appear. Your dog can show up in different metaverses in the future. So that requires a blockchain of immense scale. So, Jackson, you are trying to use micropayments to connect these three sets of actors. Tell us how you're doing that with the gamers, developers, and the digital goods creators.
Yeah, there's this really amazing virtuous cycle that emerges between people who make games, people who play games, and the people who create assets that are used to make games in the first place. And I think that micropayments, along with NFTs, really grease the wheels between these three sets of actors. In ThoroDogs, your dog can wear hats, glasses, collars. We have other types of items that you can use with your dogs coming out soon. And we have creators who are able to make new items, and so that we can get this content creation independent of our own efforts. And there's already a huge market. Like, for example, the Unity asset store. Unity is a very popular game development program, as well as just like a 3D modeling program. And they have a massive asset store. And it's extremely dysfunctional because the way that people pay for assets, it doesn't work for anybody. The asset creators don't get paid very much at all. There's enormous piracy. And if you are a legitimate actor who's actually paying for the things you're using, then you're spending way too much money. And we think that there are some new commercial models, which we don't have that much time at this panel, so I won't belabor it. But with micropayments, you can create a new commercial model, which I think really satisfies the requirements of game developers and allows for digital good creators to get paid far more. And I think that what this leads to is that you get far more assets created, you get far more games created, and this is how we kind of get from where we are today, where games are very expensive to produce, to something like a metaverse where you have these massive games created at an unprecedented scale. I think we need a new commercial model for that, and I think that micropayments powered by BSV is going to be a really big component.
All right, crypto fights I mentioned. Let's go to Phil. Phil, tell us about your NFT minting service, the chains it works on, and why people would want to use it.
Sure. So one area that we're focused on right now is moving away from this kind of single-serving NFT, which is today I buy an image, I buy a video, I buy an audio file. We have some patent pending tech that allows you to mint NFTs that have multiple file types as part of that. So imagine you as a musician, you can mint in a single NFT the album art, the audio file, a video of your recording session, as well as a PDF licensing agreement. In addition to that, we have some DRM that's inherently built into our platform. Everything that's mint instantly comes with it. It's not extra. And the ability to unlock the full audio file, the full video file, the full PDF, basically is tied directly to the user's private keys in their wallet. So if you don't have the private keys for it, you can absolutely view these files, but they're partial files, as well as all of the image files themselves are all watermarked in a lower quality. If you think you're smarter than we are and you want to go ahead and venture on off to pull up the IPFS addresses, Godspeed, have fun with that. You're basically just going to get a bunch of 1 zeros and gobbledygook because everything is encrypted.
Yeah, and you're also creating the ability to port NFTs from chains, right? Why is that important? Because now some people put their NFTs on Ethereum, on Solana, on BSV. Tell us about the porting capability and the provenance.
Yeah, so we have taken a chain agnostic approach. We're not here to tell people where they should be minting their NFTs, and even more so, we're not here to tell you where you have to leave your NFTs. NFTs that are minted on our service through NiftyCo.io, which will be going live here soon, please, by all means, hop on the list to get early access, means that if you mint with us, regardless of the blockchain which you choose to use, whether you want to do a lazy mint on Ethereum, you want to use Tezos, Flow, Polygon, BSV coming soon, it's on deck, you'll be able to move these around as well, while also maintaining the provenance from one chain to the next. It also means that when you mint with us, we can also track all of the commissions, right, from the sales, so all of your royalties. So it doesn't matter where it goes from one chain to the next, you're always getting paid. And it's our belief that just because something has value on one chain doesn't mean that it can't have value on another chain that's even higher. I mean, imagine if this was around before, Bored Apes came out and they minted with our service. Somebody from BSV could say, hey, if these are going for $1 million in Ethereum and there's 10,000 of them, imagine the one that's on BSV or another chain. And again, being able to keep that data provenance intact is super important.
All right, Tyler, what's next that you can tell us that Built by Gamers is going to be doing to promote its collaborations in the BSV ecosystem?
Yeah, one exciting project that we just wrapped was together with Haste Arcade, where that jump game that Joe was talking about earlier, we worked with 4 of our different Twitch streamers, 2 Latin American streamers and two streamers here from the United States. And it was exciting to work with them and their specific engaged community to drive traffic over to the Haste Arcade. Now, any of you who have ever worked with any sort of user onboarding, you look at conversion rates. And a good conversion rate might be somewhere in the 2%. You're doing really, really well. Our goal on this onboarding campaign was 10%. And we onboarded 38% of the traffic driven over to the Haste Arcade, which is a testament to the lower level of the funnel that Twitch streamers are bringing people in. There's a trust level there. We're able to acquire users for roughly 50 cents a user, which is exciting. And it's exciting for the future of all of what we're trying to build in this building. We need users. We need people. We need people paying. We need people to have fun. We can build great product, but if we don't have people, we won't be there. So we are building the next generation of a fan engagement platform, which is rewarding fans with almost like a badge that showcases what they've done, where they've been, how many hours of content they've watched with us, how many times they've gotten
Will those be NFTs?
These are all NFTs.
Yeah, all
These
NFTs,
are
right.
working together with Nifty Jigs on an NFT that grows, that showcases the provenance of their fandom and gives them access to unique events, unique opportunities. That's just one element. There's a whole element with the revenue model, which comes into sponsors.
Yep.
And a key piece with sponsorship is being able to show attribution from what happened when someone saw that sponsor to then, did they make a purchase? Did they do something?
So that a sponsor can calculate ROI.
They can calculate
on their
ROI. So we're
sponsorship.
working through our fan engagement platform with BSV. We could not do that on Ethereum. With every transaction costing $50, it just literally wouldn't happen. So that's why we came here. It's an exciting roadmap we have in place for both onboarding as well as utility and usage.
And
Hey, Jimmy, can I touch on that really
Sure,
quick?
please.
Here? So, as somebody who has built on half a dozen blockchains, one of the most infuriating things in the world is not just the egregious cost for a transaction, but the roll of the dice when they come time to calculate what your fee is.
Yeah.
We have had a
Because it's not consistent, right? On any given day or hour.
pain in the ass would be the understatement of a decade in the time and money that we've lost in ensuring that our experience for our customers means that they don't have to feel the pain and the headache of that. And to be honest with you, it's impossible. Anybody who tells you they've minted the perfect smart contract anytime when you have gas fees that are constantly fluctuating is lying to your face. The only platform that I've ever built on over the last 3 years, and in blockchain, that's practically half a lifetime, the only time I've ever built and have had zero issues in deploying from test to production with verifiable results every single time transaction goes on the chain, do not pass go, do not collect $200, guaranteed is on BSV. That's it. Anybody else who puts you in these gas wars, the Solanas of the world, who constantly are taking themselves offline, it's all dog shit. Sorry.
Thank you, Phil. And it's a very important point because we're talking about here with games, which can have a large volume, but I also spend a lot of my time talking to big enterprises and government agencies around the world about implementing blockchain technology. And if you've talked to any CFO of a big company, if you're going to deploy a technology application at big levels, they want to know an annual budget of what it's going to cost, right? And you can't tell them, well, it might cost, $1 million in transaction fee this year, but it might cost $10 million because the Ethereum gas fee may go up and down. They don't want that's like a dead stop when you're talking enterprise levels. And this is why it's so important not just to have low fees, reliable fees, right? People just want to be able to budget. This is what it's going to cost, and here's how we can calculate the profitability, and that requires reliability of fee, not just low fee. Tyler, anything else you want to tell us about the future of Built by Gamers? Oh, you've been acquired. Tell us about that.
We have. So we were acquired by a Hollywood production company. They see the future of entertainment, that all these hours of watch time are happening here.
Yeah, so we're going to see you, I'm going to see you in LA at red carpet events in Hollywood with me.
Tomorrow night, we have a movie premiere at the Tribeca Film Festival. This film is starring Colson Baker, Machine Gun Kelly with Megan Fox. Yeah. And we have an exciting party tomorrow in Manhattan. So it should be great.
I wish I could be there.
Lots of huge gamers. It's this fun convergence of
Hollywood and gaming.
Of Hollywood and
now
gaming.
blockchain.
Yeah.
And now blockchain. Awesome. So we'll be all looking out for Tyler with snapshots on the red carpet with Amber Heard. There we go. All right.
No Amber.
Okay, we have a couple last minutes. So any company product updates that any of you want to give to our audience, or tell them how they can work with any of you companies if they'd like.
I've got something.
Yeah.
The instant leaderboard payouts, something that I'm really excited about is the application outside of games for that. So basically the ability to now gamify and incentivize anything. And the example I'll give is the Ministry of Education of South Africa. They were at a recent conference we were at. They started thinking about, how do we change education fundamentally? How do we make it more exciting, more,
gamified.
Gamified, right.
Yeah.
So using this system, right, you're not going to have kids in school necessarily paying money to take tests or whatnot, but if they're playing these and getting instantly rewarded in tokens that they can then redeem for a scholarship fund that the Ministry of Education has put together, I think that's a huge incentive for the future of education. I know personally I probably would have studied a lot harder in school if I would have been incentivized this way. So I'm really excited about the applications outside of gaming as well that we have and the micropayments basically can do for the whole world.
Those discussions I know are happening with the people you met from South Africa. I guess I have to go for you potentially.
We would appreciate that.
Yeah, I may be going to South Africa on their behalfs. Phil.
I have a quick update here. So we are about to launch our platform to a small group of creators, one being David Masters. He's previously has sold to 808, which is Paris Hilton's partner. He's got a handful of other higher value customers as well. But that aside, we're kind of kicking this off through the sale of an NFT project called the Adopted Pitty Kennel Club. I'm a two-time Pitbull adopter. And these resources and these agencies that work specifically with the breed are horribly underfunded. And so we're going to raise $1 million for them. And the last $50 as part of that NFT, so it's $150. The last $50 gets you a 1-year subscription to the NiftyCo platform. So as it turns out, you can have an NFT with actual utility.
A world of good. Thank you, Phil. Jackson, anything?
Durodogs.com if you want to play our game. Nifty Jigs, NFTY, Jigs.com if you want to learn more about our platform. And thanks to the conference. Thanks, Jimmy, for having us.
I hope you got a good sampling of the range of things you can actually do that are useful and fun with games, NFTs, to make them useful in a Web3 and metaverse world, micropayments, data, lots of capabilities, and even expanding the capabilities of these game-type functions to things like education, charities. And that's why we really do like to talk about how a blockchain can actually power a world of good. So please give a round of applause to all of our panelists here. Thank you very much, gentlemen.